Hello and welcome. You are listening to the Personal Growth Podcast, Happiness, Balance, Change by Dr. Bill Tollefson. This podcast is being presented by www.makingapositivechange.com. Learn to recognize your personal power, understand your mindset, discover how to achieve your goals, and so much more. For a complete listing of the Happiness, Balance, Change podcast, ebooks, and other links, visit our website at www.makingapositivechange.com. Now just sit back and enjoy the show. Take it away, Dr. Bill.
Hello, and welcome to my blog. It's nice to have you back. Today's topic is I would like to talk about the 8 warning signs that your addiction recovery is fading. I think it's a very important topic that needs to be discussed for anyone who has an addiction, but particularly for people who are surviving from abuse or trauma. As you know, addiction recovery is a very fragile process. It requires commitment by the person to a promise of sobriety, the promise they make to themselves to get clean. Addiction is very fragile, and it requires that commitment to your sobriety. Many people attempt to achieve sobriety and a successful recovery, but find it hard to keep their promise day after day to just abstain. Many people, places, and life situations can cause a person to relapse. So that's important that you know what will cause you to relapse. Now, what are those 8 warning signs? Let's go through them. Number 1, an unwillingness to get real about your addiction. To break an addictive pattern, you have to be willing and ready to become sober and change your patterns of self-destruction. We all know that initially addictions are very helpful, and we almost have a love relationship with our addiction. But over time, the addiction turns toxic. At that point, denial sets in and can blind a person's eyes, heart, and thoughts toward their real need to be sober. Wow. Think about it. If you're entering into sobriety for some external reason other than yourself, sobriety is doomed to fail from the start. Be honest with your need to be free of your addiction and to achieve recovery. Number 2, withholding self-love. Think of this. Addiction enters when self-love evaporates. Many do not realize that self-love is a major issue in addiction. Addicting process is so destructive to anyone's character. The addiction soon takes the center stage of your life. Addiction can cause you to abandon yourself, family, friends, career, even just living. We tend to withdraw and isolate from other people, and our main focus becomes the relationship with whatever we're addicted to. Understand, in recovery, self-love is a strength and a barrier to being destructive toward ourselves. A barrier that stops us from self-punishing and self-sabotaging. 3, false recognition that you don't need help to get sober. Recovery is more than just a decision not to use. It's turning your life around, producing a whole new way of life, stopping old destructive or toxic patterns, and making things good in your life. Recognition of how your thoughts and behaviors, the old ones, were destroying you, and how they distort the view you have of yourself. Your beliefs become diluted about yourself over time of using. Becoming addicted is an act of forming a relationship with that substance, thought, emotion, or behavior. Without the help of someone else, be it AA, be it therapy, being a coach, whatever you use, you need that support. You cannot do it alone, or your denial will take over and you'll be back in the bad spot you were. You will relapse and use. 4. Looking all the time for a sure cure. There is no sure cure. That's kind of a tongue twister. The major attraction about addictions is that it is about immediate gratification. Recovery is the opposite. Recovery takes deep exploration, readiness, and willingness to commit to the long haul. It takes patience and an investment in yourself. Nothing is quick. Everything takes time. 5. Making excuses for unhealthy thought patterns. The one things that really destroy us and our recovery is the way we think. If we're thinking the old way, we're doomed to have a relapse. The subconscious will only allow your sobriety to occur for a while. It will trick you, thinking you will go back to your old addictive patterns. Thoughts such as, I am not good enough without a drink, without a substance. Or something bad will happen if I don't use whatever. Or I need to function and I can't without the substance or the alcohol. Now understand, don't be fooled. Every addiction starts with a thought. You have to find that original thought that caused you to use. Number 6, believe that recovery is a road to failure. Yes, recovery has this up and down process. One moment sobriety is easy and the next time it is hard and painful and can hurt. But you move forward. It is a moment-to-moment battle. Recovery is hard and takes consistent conscious effort until a new pattern is established. It will take at least 6 months to a year to establish that pattern. Understand the strongest skill an addict has is the ability to create new habitual patterns. So create healthy patterns. Create your new freedom and break from enslavement to a substance or alcohol or a thought or an emotion. 7. Believing that short-term sobriety is a cure. There is no short-term cure. Don't remain silent, but after a time of torment that you have gone through, you should be aware that it takes a long time to get sober. You have to change your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, your reactions, your people, places, and things that triggered you to that. The comfort of being in an addiction is destructive, but to move into a new comfort zone can be uncomfortable, and it can be painful until it becomes a new pattern. Many recovering addicts believe that there is a short-term time of sobriety they can return to maintenance use. Don't be fooled. It may be the rest of your life. You may have to be sober for the rest of your life. You can't just get off for a while and then get back into your addiction and think you will not run into the toxicity again. It will happen. So, sobriety is long-term commitment. There's no quick cure. There's no short way to get there. Step by step, day by day, being good to yourself, loving yourself, having self-regard is the way to go. 8. Revisiting old memories regularly, or as sometimes known as daydreaming about what was. We remember all the good things about our addictions and somehow erase all the bad things. Don't fool yourself into remembering. Live in the moment. Do things such as exercise, meditation, learn new skills that maybe you didn't have before so that you don't need some addiction to help you get through your life. Life can be good. Life can be successful. Don't romance the past. Create the future. If you follow all these ways and know these warning signs, you will be more successful in your recovery and you will have fewer relapses. Yes, we all have relapses, but it's the time that you fall off of your sobriety and get back on that measures your success in recovery. You can change your life.